Mr. Speaker, permit me this opportunity, as I beg your indulgence and that of this Honourable House, to present this statement in relation to the electricity bill, which is down on the order paper for first reading today. Mr. Speaker, you would recall that on the 11th March this year, I presented a statement to this Honourable House as a precursor to the second reading of the bill entitled Electricity. I indicated then that this government, of which I am part of, believes that a well-functioning electricity system is necessary to underpin and develop a strong, robust national economy. I also said that this government is committed to ensuring that all citizens, including the business sector and investors, enjoy and benefit from safe, reliable, and cost-effective access to electricity. This commitment by the government was made and is being reverberated today against the historical backdrop of the benefits that St. Lucians have enjoyed for decades from an efficient, reliable, and safe electricity power supply generated by fossil fuel, but at spiraling costs. Mr. Speaker, it is for this very reason that the process started towards reforming and modernizing the electricity sector through pertinent legislative re-engineering. The journey started in 2013 under the leadership of the then Minister for Sustainable Development, Energy, Science and Technology, Dr. James Fletcher, who recognized the importance of diversifying the sources of energy to reduce our country's reliance on imported fuel, fossil fuels, and to provide us with greater energy security. With the support of a World Bank project, the Energy Unit engaged a consultant to provide advice to the government on electricity sector reform and to draft several pieces of electricity sector legislation. Specifically, the consultant legislative drafter was tasked with 1, developing a new electricity supply bill, 2, developing model licenses for LUSLEC with all the relevant schedules and performance targets, and 3, developing a suite of regulations to ensure consistency with the new modern legislative framework. In 2016, again under Dr. Fletcher's watch, new legislation was introduced to amend the Electricity Act to create a new regulatory authority, the National Utilities Regulatory Commission, or the NUC as we call it, which is responsible for regulating both the water and electricity sectors, and also to allow the NUC to license and regulate electricity and renewable sources. This latter amendment, Mr. Speaker, ended the 80-year monopoly that LUSLEC previously enjoyed for the generation of electricity. Notwithstanding, LUSLEC still has the monopoly for transmission and distribution because our market is too small to make transmission and distribution attractive enough to any new investors. However, the way was now clear for the entry of independent power producers, IPPs, and new investments in renewable energy generation aimed at achieving energy independence, energy security, and energy resilience. It is for these reasons, Mr. Speaker, that the decision to review the Electricity Supply Act was made in the year 2013 to achieve energy independence, energy security, and energy resilience through reduced dependence on fossil fuels in the most affordable and sustainable manner. Mr. Speaker, the review process involved a series of legislative consultations with several entities, including government agencies, Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, commonly called CCRE, Lucia, the National Utilities Regulatory Commission, the NUC, the general public, and other significant social and economic stakeholders in our society. During the legislative review of the primary and secondary electricity sector laws of Grenada and St. Lucia, under the Eastern Caribbean Energy Regulatory Authority, ESERA, that project, two independent consultants identified several gaps and inconsistencies in both countries' legislation. Consequently, a series of technical working meetings comprising key stakeholders ensued numerous rounds of consultation spanning several years in the country. A negotiating committee was also established with representatives from the NUC, the utility, and the government of St. Lucia, which focused on challenges, best practices, technical analysis, financial implications, and other areas relating to the energy sector. As the legislative changes progressed, several iterations were shared and amended before arriving at the final draft. Partners who supported various aspects of the drafts include the Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI, the World Bank, USAID, GIZ, TAPSEC, that is German Corporation for International German Corporation for International Cooperation, Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, and the regional and other international agencies. Mr. Speaker, on completion of the draft, that is in September of 2024, public stakeholder consultations were held in Castries, where there was no turnout, Grosile, Soufrière, Micoud, Dennery, and Vieux-Fort. And Mr. Speaker, I must indicate that ahead of those stakeholder consultation, there was a widespread public announcements and public invitations extended. The private sector, the Chamber of Commerce, Consumer Affairs, Manufacturing Association, were also engaged through this process of consultation. Prior to the holding of the meetings and throughout the consultation period, the draft bill was circulated for public consumption and comment. Periodic updates were also presented to me as the Minister responsible for energy. Consultations were conducted on the 3rd of October, with additional calls being made for comments on the document prior to completion. No additional comments were received during the month period to the end, all the way to the end of the consultations. Subsequently, Mr. Speaker, the Energy and Public Utilities Division submitted a final draft of the electricity bill to the Cabinet of Ministers, incorporating the proposed recommendations for amendment from LUSLEC, the NUC, and other public comments and the Attorney General's chambers. In December 2024, the Energy and Public Utilities Division received a 12-page document from Alliance for Green Innovation and Technology detailing feedback on the presentation shared at the island-wide public consultations. Further, Mr. Speaker, the EPUD commissioned, that is EPUD, Energy and Public Utilities Division, commissioned a further review of the legislation with the support of the CDB. Independent consultants were tasked with reviewing the legislation against the CDB's minimum regulatory functions MRF framework. The report showed that the bill aligned with the framework for transitioning to a renewable energy-based electricity sector. Further meetings were held with former Energy Minister James Fletcher and private business owners. These meetings primarily focused on the electricity tariff regulations, capacity limits, and form of billing for renewable energy. As it pertains to the draft electricity bill, no concrete comments that warranted changes to the bill have been made. Notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding this extensive process, there are individuals at this time who are expressing concerns about the draft legislation and still asking for an opportunity to make a contribution. I believe, Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the extensive process which started as far back as 2013 and the numerous occasions and opportunities afforded to the general public to participate in the various consultations and the various meetings held, the assistance provided, technical assistance provided by international agencies, the GIZ, the World Bank, and other international agencies, the CDB, etc. It is, for me, an opportunity when I present the bill for first reading to ask that the bill be read a second time at a later date. This, Mr. Speaker, is a demonstration of the understanding of this government. It's a demonstration of transparency. It's a demonstration of tolerance and to be able to work together with the general public. Only last night, Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity of speaking to Dr. James Fletcher after receiving a number of calls, an opportunity to speak with the Chamber of Commerce, who've asked that they would need at least an extra 2 weeks just to consolidate their thoughts on the bill. A number of other individuals have sent messages asking for time to consolidate their thoughts on the legislation. Mr. Speaker, this piece of legislation is an important landmark legislation that we must channel and pilot through the Parliament of this, through the Parliament. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the proposed new Electricity Act, if I should reiterate, is a completely new piece of legislation for the sector that will capture all relevant previous amendments and revolutionize the electricity sector here in St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, this transformative piece of legislation, which has been in the making since 2013, more than 10 years, is expected to achieve the established objectives of a secure, safe, reliable, and cost-effective, resilient, and independent electricity sector. Mr. Speaker, the draft electricity bill represents a bold and necessary step forward for St. Lucia. It provides a modern legal framework that will drive investment, increase renewable energy penetration, and improve the overall efficiency of our electricity sector. However, Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the tremendous effort and volume of work infused into this important national initiative throughout the years, the importance of this revolutionary and transformative piece of legislation to the citizenry of St. Lucia deserves one more window of opportunity for additional public ventilation and scrutiny. Mr. Speaker, the depth and breadth of the public's interest, the heightened expectation, the euphoric excitement, and the energy that this transformative piece of legislation has been generating wants that window of opportunity for deeper conversation, debate, and meaningful contribution to this historic landmark legislation. Mr. Speaker, there's heightened ecstatic passion renewed vigor and exuberance among sector professionals, not only here in St. Lucia, but throughout the wider region and the world, as the information filters through society and interests of local, regional, and international investors continue to heighten. Hence the reason, Mr. Speaker, for further ventilation, for full absorption of the benefits and opportunities, but also for enriched recommendations, if any, at this time. The draft electricity bill, Mr. Speaker, represents a bold and necessary step forward for St. Lucia. It provides a modern legislative framework that will drive investment, increase renewable energy penetration, and improve the overall efficiency of our electricity sector debate. In this regard, therefore, I shall later during today's proceedings propose that this Honourable House give consideration to the second reading at a next or subsequent sitting of the House. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.